State Department or the American Embassy that this issue is very, very emotional to the people of Pakistan. Dr. Arbab, of course, a very crucial point over here is that an aid cutoff from the United States right now, in many ways, will not really directly impact the lives of the average poor Pakistanis, many of whom live below the poverty line, are food insecure, they have a lot of crises, and they have not seen any trickle-down effect of either Kerry Lugar bill or military aid or any aid. It's really only going to affect the ruling elite, the military and the political
and
government.
the NGOs who have come
and the NGOs.
Well, I assure you that we'll stand our ground. The law of the land, it will take its course, and we'll stand our ground. We have, we have our honor, we have our dignity, and we'll go according to the law.
You may want to go according to law, but the people of Pakistan perhaps are not in any mood to keep listening to statements like that came from Fawzia Wahab today.
Well, this is maybe this is her personal statement.
And that,
as far as the government is concerned, the case is in the court, and we'll go according to the law of the land.
Go according to the law of the land. Okay, I'm going to.
That is not sufficient for the Pakistani people. We want the government to tell the US to get off and stop threatening us, till the government can look the Americans in the eye and say enough is enough. We don't want to have our leaders traveling. You want to call off meetings, good, but we are not pushed. Instead of the apologetic tone that the leadership is adopting right now. And by the way, our military, I don't know why it's suddenly become fond of American aid. We did without American aid and did quite well for decades and decades. And if 9/11 had not happened, we would not be getting the military aid or any other aid. Yeah. So let's remember that we have not always been dependent on the so-called American aid.
Which is interesting, Dr. Arbab, because obviously to follow up on what Dr. Mazari just said is that 9/11 really triggered a crisis for us on the western border that we have never had. You know, we were always looking at the Eastern Front. And your government, in many ways, just wholly adopted this war against terrorism and made it your own. Do you regret that now?
Look, as far as war on terrorism is concerned, Afghanistan is directly affecting Pakistan. The situation in Afghanistan is directly affecting the situation in Pakistan. 2 years back, our people, our children were not able to go to school. Our people were not able to go to mosque. There were so many bomb blasts in my constituency. There is hardly any village where there is not a bomb blast victim. But this was a very important issue, a very important issue, which we said that this is our issue because our people who are being killed. So we carried out operations, and I won't say that we have controlled the issue, but we have to a greater extent we have controlled it.
Could you quickly also comment on what Dr. Mazari just said briefly, if you can, about the fact that your government needs to stand up, look at the Americans eye to eye, and say back off?
It's for the leadership to decide, but again I would say that we'll stand our ground and we'll go according to the law of the land.
Okay.
If the situation arises, we'll do that also.
All right, I'm going to take the last minute here, Dr. Durrani. Senator Durrani, I'm not getting confused with so many doctors. Made you a doctor too. Very briefly, of course, I mentioned this right at the beginning, is that former President General Pervez Musharraf, you are from his party, rather his previous party, PMLQ, he's now with the APML. His spokesman says that Musharraf will not return to Pakistan for the hearings for which a warrant has been issued and termed the warrant ridiculous. Is the PMLQ at all talking with President Musharraf about this issue, or are you done with the guy? You wash your hands of him?
I think it's a question which can be asked to the leadership of my party.
You're one of the senior leaders of your party.
So I don't have any placement in my party, and I am mostly in Bahawalpur and working for my restoration of my province.
Yes, I'm aware of the Bahawalpur issue, and Senator Durrani had promised me that he would work that into the discussion, and he did. So I'll have to give him that. Of course, I am going to just leave the issue over here because I think there's really a lot of divergent opinions on this whole thing. So I'd like to thank my guests, Dr. Arbab Alamgir Khan, Dr. Shireen Mazari, and Senator Muhammad Ali Durrani. I've taken away your doctorate, which I just bestowed on you, and I'd like to thank you all for having taken part in today's program. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, one of the main issues that we have to remember over here is definitely the Pakistan People's Party position that the matter is in the court, and yes, it is. There's a stay order against him leaving, Raymond Davis leaving the country. He has been sent to Kot Lakpat jail as the judicial proceedings continue. But in the midst of all that, the fact that the United States has chosen to postpone the trilateral agreement and putting incredible pressure on Pakistan, the real question is going to be whether Pakistan can hold against that pressure. The Pakistan People's Party's decision to share the responsibility with others may be seen as being a little unfair, but perhaps they have little choice in the matter. And of course, a united stand coming from all political parties in this country would definitely give them leverage with the United States. Well, that's all we have for you for today. Thank you so much for having joined us. It's Katrina Hussain saying Khuda Hafiz from Islamabad.